Mostly he supports her efforts and offers advice whenever she asks for it. Now, wait a minute. Earlier on in the book, you had said that he was jealous of her. Make up your mind, Terrible Lady. According to an associate of Michael's, what really happened is that someone representing LaToya, and I'm not saying it was Jack, and I'm not saying it wasn't Jack, because frankly, I don't know, got in touch with Michael's people and said that Mike had better come up with millions if he didn't want the book to be published. Mike was hurt. He had never done anything to LaToya to cause her to be so unkind to him, and he felt that Jack was orchestrating all of it. Still, it doesn't get a free ride just by saying Jack is the one doing the dirty work, he said. She has to take responsibility just like I do. I was in the room when Michael made his final decision. I'm not going to let my own sister, a person I loved, a person who has known me all my life, blackmail me. This is as low as you can go, he observed. Tell LaToya I said she can go jump in the lake. She's not getting one effing dime from me. Well, LaToya, you better go jump in the lake. Despite the fact that he was now in his 30s, many people in his circle felt that Michael had never grown up, that he was still an adolescent at heart, playing with his teenage male friends and entertaining handicapped youngsters at his palatial estate. On the career front, there had been much discussion as to how to follow Bad, just as when he was attempting to conceptualize a successor to Thriller, Michael was concerned about competing with himself. Bad had not sold as many copies as Thriller, and Michael was disappointed. Still, rather than try to compete with the previous two albums by issuing another one of new material, John Branca convinced Michael that he should release a greatest hits collection entitled Decade, which would also include a few new songs. It was a good idea. It would take some pressure off Michael at a time when he did need a break in his life. Michael intended to deliver Decade to Sony Corporation, CBS Records parent company, in August of 1989. It was scheduled to be released in November in time for the Christmas sales rush. I want more money than anyone else has ever gotten, Michael told John when the attorney began negotiating with CBS Records for the new album. John did not let him down. All of the pieces of the puzzle were in place for a tremendous Decade kickoff. However, by January 1990, it was obvious that Michael would fail to deliver Decade. He was ambivalent about the format. There was some confusion as to which to include on it. The original plan was for the package to consist of 4 cuts from Off the Wall, 7 from Thriller, 6 from Bad, 3 to 5 new songs, State of Shock, the hit duet with Mick Jagger, Heartbreak Hotel, Somewhere in the Dark, from Michael's E.T. narration album, Come Together, and 2 vintage Motown songs that Michael was remastering. However, Michael kept bullshitting. He had the dude David Geffen in his ear. Not that David Geffen is not a prominent business man. It's just, it was like he saw David Geffen as accomplished. And in his mind, if David Geffen agreed with it, then it was good to go. If David Geffen thought otherwise, then we gonna put it on pause. In the end, his close friend, entertainment mogul David Geffen, finally talked him out of putting out the album altogether. Rather, Michael would produce an album of new material. The deal John Branca negotiated for him at CBS and with Warner Tamerlane applied to any product Michael chooses to issue. Listen to me. One thing Virgos ain't got is allegiance. Like I had to explain to my wife because she didn't cut her hair off because of her sickness, right? I had to explain to her, you get one barber. You can't just go in there and let anybody cut your hair because you allow one barber to get to know your hair. And then he will guide you as to which way to go. She was like, no, I don't have time to be waiting. My wife will walk past the barber that has been cutting her hair for 6 months to go to a motherfucker that sit right next to him. Look over at the barber and be like, what's up? And be oblivious. I'm like, girl, you can't do that, girl. You can't do that. That's rude. Right after you leave, they gonna argue. Why you still my client? My wife ain't thinking about no stealing no client shit. She just want her hair cut. Prior to this time, Walter Yetnikoff and Michael Jackson had an outstanding relationship. Michael brought him up on the stage during the 1984 Grammys. Walter was appreciative and felt that Michael's public show of gratitude helped him earn millions of dollars for himself and his label. Prior to this time, Walter Yetnikoff and Michael Jackson had an outstanding relationship. Michael brought him up on the stage during the 1984 Grammys. Walter was appreciative and felt that Michael's public show of gratitude helped him earn millions of dollars for himself and his label. You don't bring record executives up at the Grammys because no one's interested, Yetnikoff told Rolling Stone in 1988. I went to CBS and I said, give me another $2 million for that. Walter Yetnikoff had been one of the most powerful men in the record business for many years. By 1990, his lineup of superstar recording artists included Michael, Bruce Springsteen, the Rolling Stones, and Bob Dylan. But his power had slipped during the year due to a deteriorating relationship with CBS Records' new parent company, Sony, and in part to his estrangement from Bruce Springsteen and Springsteen's attorney, John Landau. Now, without Michael Jackson in his corner, Yetnikoff's future looked cloudy. By 1990, Janet Jackson had come into her own with the biggest success of her career. The A&M album, Janet Jackson's Rhythm Nation 1814, a string of hit records, Miss You Much, Escapade, Rhythm Nation, among others, and her first national tour. Surprisingly, Michael is not as competitive with Janet as people might think. Mostly he supports her efforts and offers advice whenever she asks for it. Now, wait a minute. Earlier on in the book, you had said that he was jealous of her. Make up your mind, Terrible Lele. He thought Rhythm Nation was the work of a genius, and his biggest concern was not that it had sold so many copies, but that it hadn't sold enough. Why did it only sell 5 or 6 million copies? He asked a former associate. And what does this mean for me and my next album? Like Michael, Janet has not been resistant to the plastic surgeon's knife. She has had at least 2 nose jobs, and some have speculated that she has had surgery on her breasts. But she knows how to make plastic surgery work to her advantage. She looks stunning, especially after shedding on a 900 calorie a day diet, the weight she'd been trying to lose for years. Y'all, I'm telling you, I seen Janet Jackson in the Vegas, and the tour was The Ones. Oh my God, it was the best show in the world. She was all covered up because she was messing with that rich Muslim, then her baby father, but it didn't matter. And now, let me tell y'all something. What breaks my heart is you can tell that she's not young anymore. She's moving, but she's not moving like she used to move. And I hope the fans are not mad at her about that, because you bitches was surely mad at the Beyonce. Beyonce just standing there. I want to see her Beyonce didn't have fucking 15 children, okay? And is 52 years old. She can't keep gyrating on stage for y'all, even though you paid $2,000 to see her gyrate on stage. She can't do it no more. The rest of the Jacksons have not fared as well in their recordings without Michael. Solo albums by Jackie, Jermaine, Marlon, and Randy all had disappointing sales. So did an excellent group album recorded by Jackie, Jermaine, Tito, and Randy called 2300 Jackson Street. Michael was bothered that 2300 Jackson Street had not been a commercial success, especially since he had telephoned Walter Yitnikoff and specifically asked him to take a special interest in the album. But CBS Records could not successfully promote the Jacksons without Michael. It's not that the brothers have no talent. They do. After decades of experience, most of the Jacksons are first-rate vocalists, and they are all champion entertainers. LaToya's memoirs, LaToya Growing Up in the Jackson Family, was published in September 1991. In it, she was extremely critical of her family, especially that Catherine. You hear me? It's all Catherine's fault. Okay, that's what we learned from LaToya. But generous to Michael, and did not suggest that he had been molested. While she did not claim to have been molested by Joseph in the book, the publisher did not want to risk legal liability on such a volatile issue. She did so in her promotional tour. Right. On talk show after talk show, she spoke of Joseph having forced her into sexual relations with him, and Catherine having told him, "Not tonight, Joseph." She had enough. Again, who can truly know, considering the personalities involved in such madness? By 1990, both family and career pressures continued to take their toll on 32-year-old Michael Jackson. 2300 Jackson Street, always home.